The BMPS Show is brought to you by Jameson.
Jameson, triple distilled, twice as smooth. Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 years of age.
And a block of you.
Tell us
No. You can work back.
It is what it is. This is what you get every Friday, 9 p.m. to 9:30 on Joy Prime. You're welcome to another exciting edition of the BMPS Show. Bald, muscled, pot-bellied, and skinny. I know you're expecting 4 dudes, but today we have a special person in our midst. And guess what? It is because of Jameson. Why am I saying so? Look, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, anytime you have some sort of a catch up with your friends, whether they are old friends or they are new ones, there is always room for that special person when there is a bottle of Jameson on the table. I am Kofi Hayford, I'm the host, and I'm doing this with my usual suspects. Bossy.
Yalla.
Oli.
Yalla.
And Nanye. That's what we do. I'm Kofi Hayford once again, and today we're doing this with our brother, NGO. You know, the first time I heard his name, NGO, was like, wow, he run NGO.
NGO. That's what the National Girls Organizer.
Oh, snap.
Am I paying you?
Wait, am I looking about? I saw you fine, boy.
And that's a possible jacket.
Nah, I was the engine on
Charlie. Some men know, we are not first. Some just say Charlie. Skadu go.
Non-profits.
Who's a tax squad?
What's that?
Na NGO to tax.
It's true. Yo, this guy is saying something really interesting.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
But let's remind you that the BMPS show is brought to you by Jameson. Like I said, you can always pull up a chair and have that special person on set with you, or have the person join the party. That's what we're trying to say. Today we're seated here at a very refreshing and serene environment on the N1 stretch right here in Accra, and we call it Juice Tank. Yeah. These are the folks that take pride in serving their customers with the freshest and juiciest of drinks and food made from the best of ingredients. And so if you're looking for a place to have a good time, then Juice Tank is that place to be.
And you know, but it's very affordable too.
Yeah, you can bring 4 girls, 5 girls. And you'll still be within budget.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's testimony for you right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Charlie, let's get into it. You know, I've always said that being conservative probably equals being old-fashioned. And I wanted us to digest this thing. Does being conservative mean being old-fashioned?
I'm the least conservative person I know.
You are the least conservative person
I know.
Doesn't mean you are old-fashioned.
But I have old-fashioned tendencies.
So then it means... So
that's what I'm saying. I'm not conservative, but I have old-fashioned tendencies, which I think are more related to values, if anything. Right? But there are some things I'm not old-fashioned about, and there's some things that I am. So it's a hard one for me to answer, to be honest.
And personally, I don't think being conservative necessarily equates to being old-fashioned. No. Being conservative basically means you're stuck with not stuck, but you believe in certain traditions, certain values. And I know a lot of conservative people who are very open-minded as well when it comes to certain things, as compared to liberals who tend to, let's say, concept for instance, when it comes to family values, you have family values, you believe in the traditional roles of a man, traditional roles of a woman, you believe in law and order, you believe in, patriotism, but that does not equate being old-fashioned. I mean, if you believe in traditional roles of a man, that's
old-fashioned.
How is that old-fashioned?
Well, I don't necessarily
that
think
isn't old-fashioned.
It's not.
Thank you. It's old-fashioned.
You see. I'm coming from this perspective. Let me use these people for example. The deeper life.
The deeper life.
The deeper life.
Oh, like the church?
church?
The church.
Oh,
Okay.
Hey, relax.
I want to see where he's going with this.
He's only setting an
Why do you
example.
always want
No, because
to?
you two want an example.
Because it's you. You
Oh, you
always
want-
end
you
up
want
coming
to
with
do
something
it
special.
No, even when they take counter what they talk now, it go be.
No, let's listen to him.
Let's take them for example. Let's take them for example. Let's take them for example. It's not that, it's their way of life. Compared to other churches. I'm just using them for example, compared to any other Orthodox churches. Where deeper life will tell you that you dress from what? Top to down. We don't want to see above your knee. No makeups, no earrings, whatever.
It be colloquial.
No, if it's colloquial, but there are some people who are innovative. Same way as Rastafarians. You
Okay,
understand?
let me ask you this. If I started Deeper Life, if Deeper Life was started in 2020, would they have the same sort of values as you're describing now?
Well, no,
That is the way of.
I don't know.
That's the attitude.
Given the
don't
context
think
of
we
society
can
they're in,
tell.
right?
I don't think we can tell.
It's likely
But
they'll be in the
yes,
context of society we're in.
Exactly.
So it's fair to say that it's old-fashioned.
If we don't move on the religion
It's
thing.
not about religion, it's about their culture. That is their tradition.
Yeah, which is acceptable, but it's old-fashioned.
If you want
But that's why amongst them, there are people who are innovative.
You watch the.
No, they're innovative people, but they have old-fashioned tendencies.
Not all of them, because I have someone that he's a deeper life. He's very close.
No. I wouldn't even let you finish. From that angle, there are always people that will go contrary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But majority way we talk about.
But that you would always have people who are
About
going
majority.
contrary to
Yeah.
the basic
Exactly.
beliefs.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll come to. But possible. Let's have your
You be
initial.
colo. You be colo. If
I
you-
hear
if
that
you-
sentence,
if
chill.
you be hand in the column, conservative. If you colo, what's you?
So once
Why?
you are
I
conservative,
will move past those things right now. See what they go and they tell me say, they believe in what values do they talk about?
Family values.
okay. Do you
Those days,
do you
those days.
believe that the man should be the
You know,
head?
say those days.
Do you believe that the man should be the head of the family?
Right now, safe. The women, what do they call them?
Yes or no will be fine.
I know
Thank
they
you.
simple.
Yes or no will be fine.
Yes or no? What is
So do
why?
you believe yes or no?
I know they believe in that.
So would you be a second husband?
If you, would I be what?
Would you be happy being a second husband?
What do you talk
Even
about?
polyandry.
If you're a woman, if let's say you say you be a man of the house, so if you do what, if you do most of the house this thing, or if you put on money and things, you did there, you know they put on money on daily basis. Maybe your wife get party.
You go love exchange rules plus your wife.
yeah.
I'm not saying
Would
this.
you, I feel like say you marry the lady fine, but if it be equal this thing.
Of course, I mean that's a different
Exactly.
topic altogether.
So why they talk
That's
say
a- no, that's a different topic
Yeah, so
altogether.
you say if I believe say man for be head of.
No.
Why
Look,
that's
look,
what they say right now?
look. The question I asked has got nothing to do with what I believe in.
Yeah.
I haven't given you my stance on who should be
You
the
never
head of
do,
the-
actually.
I-
Funny enough.
Well,
Why asking me
Yeah,
that?
you actually never do. So what is your opinion?
what's your
because
thought
it's
on
in
that?
line with what we're discussing. Because even though you probably do not believe that a man should be the head of the family, it is something that has been passed on generations after generations. So it fits right into this conversation when we're trying to find out. So that's what I'm asking. Would you exchange roles with your wife?
With your wife.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. So that's
No,
why I say we have
no,
a
no, no, no,
I wouldn't
no,
have
no,
a problem with that.
Yes or no?
I wouldn't
Yes,
have a
would you do
why
that?
they put me into that question? Say
Ah.
yes or no? Because I don't get a problem with that. No, I don't get a problem with that. So far I say the house is very smooth, everything they run smooth. I don't get a problem with that.
Okay.
I have the problem with that. Say if the role is for take your wife, they do one. What be the problem with
Can
that?
I just say I
Okay.
just can't stop drinking this thing, man?
So,
This is really
so
good.
for instance, I was thinking about this now. With a concept, let's say, in the context of Africa, Ghana, our society, a conservative man would believe in polygamy. You get it?
Yes.
Do you believe in polygamy?
You're thinking too much.
Too much.
Too much thinking.
No, I don't.
You don't believe in polygamy?
Do you believe in polyandry, where a woman can take two husbands?
No, I don't.
So
I
would
think
you,
it's a wrap.
so would you
So
say,
if
you're
you're saying
walking
that-
contradictions?
Yeah, so
No,
if you're
but
talking
listen,
about monogamy,
but
then
listen,
that is also
listen,
conservative.
Of course.
It is.
Just as you talk, say, in every spec, you go have people where then go be reserved
Always.
to whatever.
No,
exactly.
no, yeah, well,
What are you
always,
talking about?
always,
You know,
but-
so why the beat me question where you know say this question definitely go have people where then be reserved.
No, but it is you. Say what's
No.
your
It's,
policy?
I mean, it's the five of us
Yeah.
that have met and having this discussion. So I'm pretty sure that the folks, look.
You know say certain things then they do, they be colo things then they do. You know they believe.
I'm only trying to
You know
find
they
out.
believe.
Like what?
You know
Like
they
what?
believe.
Like
Oh,
what?
some things be colo. Now and then.
Like what? Like what? Like what would you say is a colo thing?
And that's what I want
What
to
is
understand.
talking? The example say we give self, that one say be colo. The example we take the church say give
No,
self.
but that is religion.
That is religion.
And
Not even
being
bring am out.
conservative,
That's an example.
you can even be
Exactly. When we are the thing
you
say
see,
be colo.
Listen.
You see, but that is only peculiar to a certain
Before
a certain
Pentecost.
denomination.
Before Pentecost. If you know they do duku, you know go enter the church inside. You know.
I think they've evolved.
But right now they evolve.
Yes,
So
good.
then colo things they
But
dey
you-
try to evolve them.
but that
So
is-
if you point
But
them out.
but it doesn't change them from being concepts.
They are the same people. There are some
Omunya
people.
Omejai.
in there- No, not
But you see what NJ is saying.
Eh.
No, but in your kind of think about it. You know, they still have certain strong fundamental
fundamental
values.
values. Yes, these things are just
But
just.
But that's what I'm saying.
This is what they talk.
that is
Yeah,
how-
yeah,
we have
But,
the-
but,
we
but,
are the
but, but
conserv-
doesn't mean that you are old-fashioned.
I think it's fair to describe you as old-fashioned. It's not that it's wrong, but it's
It no be
okay
wrong.
to
No,
call
no, no,
someone
no, no,
old-fashioned
no,
if they
no.
are.
No, it no be wrong.
There are certain
But
things
if you
that are
okay say you be
old-fashioned. It is what it is.
But if you not say you be old fashioned.
Yeah. That's what I said from
Yeah,
the beginning.
okay.
That
Yeah,
I'm
but you-
old-fashioned
I mean,
in
but-
certain thoughts,
You know
but
be bad.
certain things I'm
No, it no
open
be
to.
bad.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm, you know,
exactly.
I'm less old-fashioned to it. So for me, I wouldn't describe myself as fully old-fashioned or fully whatever.
Eh.
Okay.
So
okay.
are you liberal or just would you call
I'm
yourself
liberal
a
in certain
liberal?
things.
In certain,
In certain
No.
things.
No. So
Under certain
on a
circumstances.
scale of 1 to 10, how liberal are you?
How liberal am I? Probably 8.
So then it means you're liberal.
Yeah,
are
you
liberal.
Yeah, probably 8.
Yeah.
But
But
there
I
are
don't
certain,
think
yeah.
honestly I'm saying that I'm thinking this. You know, I don't ever believe anybody's
One.
all liberal
Yeah.
or
No,
all
not at all. There are-
conservative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It no be bad.
Okay.
Nobody
okay.
is all liberal,
Yeah,
especially when you're
that
from
one
Africa.
is- Yeah,
Actually, everybody born from 2020 are liberal.
No, you know what? We're gonna delve deeper into that. Just hold it right there. He's raised a very interesting point.
Right?
We're gonna go into this, but let's remind our viewers that you are on Joy Prime and you're watching BMPS, Bald Muscled, Pot-Bellied, and Skinny Show, where we dissect matters and discuss issues from a man's perspective. People always say that, oh, yeah, men never talk, men never express how they feel, but right here, we chop it like it's supposed to be. And we're having it right here at Juice Tank, sorry, on the N1 stretch right here in Accra. It's in Jolu, in the heart of the city. And so if you're looking for good food to eat, made from the freshest of ingredients, then this is where you have to be. If you're looking for great drinks, Charlie, I'm enjoying it. This guy is done with his
This
already.
is beautiful.
Yeah,
You
but
want the table.
but
orange.
then it
I'll
means
buy
that
another
Juice Tank is that place that you need to be. But let me also remind you that we are doing this kind courtesy of Jameson. Always make sure that there is room for that one special person when there is Jameson on the table. I'm Kofi Hayford. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. You're still on BMPS on Joy Prime. I am Kofi Hayford. I'm here with Nanye NGO, who is our special guest today, kind courtesy of Jameson. And then we have Possible, representing Skinny. Oliver, the Modern Rock, is right here, representing the muscle. These days, I refuse to talk about the pot belly. And they know why. Because it is vanishing.
It really is. No, you're doing very well, but it's bad for the brand, man. We need the
Tell
pot
me
belly
I'm
back.
doing well. Tell me I'm doing well.
Yeah, you're
Whatever.
doing very well.
We're still having this very interesting conversation about being conservative and whether or not it translates automatically to being old-fashioned. But if you're loving the set, we're seated right here at Juice Tank. These guys take delight in serving you with the best of fresh juice. If you're a lover of good food, this is that place to be as well, because all their foods are made from the best of ingredients as well. But also remember that Jameson is still here. Possible's favorite.
Yeah.
And we're here because of them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, guys, you said something. You said,
I said everybody born from 2020 is liberal.
why do you say so?
I don't think there's any remnant of old-fashioned left after this point. Like, look, you look at COVID. I think COVID started an entire different way of seeing things. Now, these 20 people born in 2020 are going to be born seeing working from home as a norm. They're seeing their parents. A lot of them were born from their parents being at home and having nothing to do. Right? So they're born into parents working from home. They're born into situations where people are expecting a certain standard of living. There people are questioning governments. They're seeing a young person almost chopping president in Nigeria.
Right.
They're seeing all these things, right? It's going to be very hard for... My head is sweating. Yeah, that's what bald people do. So yeah, they're seeing all of these new things that, let's say, our generation were either fighting for
Right.
or thinking could happen. They're seeing it as the norm. And when they get to the teenage ages, Charlie,
That would be their reality.
yeah. And for them, they'll look at all of these practices that we are looking at from when we were in school as old-fashioned.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though we are saying that some of the things we were doing back there were liberal.
Yeah.
You have a point.
Yeah,
But I wanted us to delve into this. Andrew, let me ask.
Yeah.
So, what does it mean to be old-fashioned? And is it wrong to be old-fashioned?
I don't necessarily think it's wrong, but to define old-fashioned, I think old-fashioned is something that is out of touch, out of date. You know,
Do
that is
things ever go out of date? And I'm
Yes,
asking this.
yes,
I'm asking this because in recent years, I mean, take Black Sherry for example. Look at the kind of pair of trousers that he puts on. These things are old-fashioned, but it's more like he's trying to bring it back in vogue.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about how it's cut out, how it's done, how it's worn, how it's, you know, sold. But when you talk about things getting out of date, now let's go into culture. Female genital mutilation.
Yeah.
That is out of date. That is old-fashioned. That is
But I think supposed to do it.
Yeah.
yes, but it
But
is
they're old-fashioned people.
It is
You
old-fashioned.
will have majority of the people saying no.
Exactly, and
So
you-
the pot will be old fashioned.
and who?
To it. Well, of course.
Yes,
this
I
is-
mean,
By
yes.
now they are going to love the go watch.
Sure.
What?
that is
You are
old-fashioned.
selfish.
Because
That's you just serving your selfish
you see
interest.
people before, you
No,
watch
no,
the
let
people
him make
before.
his point. Let him
Yeah,
make his point.
so
You see
I
him.
think all these things that we've gone through, some things that we see, some cultural stuff are old-fashioned, but there are certain things that are not old-fashioned but are conservative. For instance, I'm still using culture for instance.
It's perfect.
In the Ashanti society, you know, right now it's in vogue. You know, the woke society has, you know, you can't be misogynistic, which is perfect. Misogyny and all those things is something that we must kick out of our society. But when you look at some of our cultural, you know, phenomena, some of our cultural values, it has always been pro-women. Like for the Akan society, for instance, the biggest person in the family is a matriarch. The matriarch is somebody that you know, handles the family, controls the family, does everything. So there was a huge part for women to play. In as much as, you know, in other cultures and other parts, women were maligned and, you know, put on the side. And I think it can always get better. Being conservative doesn't necessarily mean old-fashioned. As of then, they were way ahead of their time then, doing that, making women the head of families and head of, you know, societies then. But right now, that is what we're trying to do. So being conservative then wouldn't be old-fashioned, would it?
I am laughing like killer. You know why? You know why? Look.
Being conservative is
Yeah,
old-fashioned.
I think conservative is old-fashioned.
Like I just said, I mean,
I think if you're going to call something conservative, you're going to call it old-fashioned.
No.
Like, for example, like, you can...
I want to believe. I want to believe that it's true, but I also think there are some exceptions. Let me hit you with this, and I'm going to pick it from where NGU left off, with regards to our cultures and the family setting. Do we agree that the Bible, for example, why are you guys laughing? I'm being honest. You agree that the Bible in certain areas makes women second fiddle?
yes.
The Bible itself.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, does it mean that if you listen to the Bible or you do as the Bible says, you're old-fashioned?
I think, first of all, if you listen
Or
to...
it means you're being conservative?
I'm going
or
to say something
both?
controversial here.
Say, well, I think even what I have said
And I'm
is
going to agree
controversial.
with you because I know what you're going to say. I'm going to agree with
so
you.
two things. The New Testament, yeah, even though the word new is in there, is old-fashioned.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Right?
Because,
And the reason why I say that is, imagine me in this day and age. Let's say I'm 18 years old, 19, and I'm looking for a reference on the idea of, let's say, sex. Yeah? I can't find anything like that in the New Testament.
But
I can
the Bible is not a sex
No, but
manual.
no, it may not be a sex manual, but it's teaching you a way of life.
Yeah, but-
And
but-
sex is a part of my life,
Okay.
right? So he is saying that conservative doesn't mean you're old-fashioned. Is the missionary sex position conservative? Or no? I'm just saying. No, it is, right? Is it not conservative?
Yes, it is.
But is it mentioned anywhere in the Bible? Is it?
No, that's a side note.
Yeah.
Is it conservative?
No, I don't think it's conservative.
Because I think the
per
Spider-Man
se.
position is liberal.
How is it liberal?
And the motorcycle.
And the motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
See? He knows.
What? No, the motorcycle.
Yeah, you can have liberal people. You can have the point I was making that you can have liberal people practicing conservative acts, but the acts themselves are old-fashioned acts.
Exactly.
You can be liberal, but you can be practicing an old-fashioned thing.
So it's
You know what I mean?
bad.
And
So
vice
it doesn't
versa.
necessarily mean that you are
So
old-fashioned.
yeah. So the idea of whether you are old-fashioned is intercontextual. But you can describe acts as old-fashioned. You can describe
Well,
certain
yes.
acts as liberal.
Yes.
But
I
you
believe
can't.
there's
You,
somebody
yeah.
who solely believe in the values of this whole conservative thing, and then the traditional thing is just old-fashioned person.
I didn't
Like
catch
I
that.
said.
I didn't catch that.
What?
I believe that somebody who solely believes in the values of tradition is an old-fashioned person.
Absolutely.
I mean, tradition should evolve.
Yeah.
Cultures should evolve.
wait.
Like you're talking about the
Seriously.
Bible, for instance. Now, the Bible you mentioned is built from certain cultures, northern culture. You know, people from Syria, Turkey,
Israel, and what have you.
Pakistan. It was a culture then. So it was written in context. It was written in a time. So everything that they were saying then was during that time.
So is it redundant now?
A lot of it is redundant.
Big statement.
That's
a big statement.
No.
It is.
I agree.
Now let's talk about it. Now in the Bible, it seemingly condones slavery.
Not,
Is slavery-
not,
is slav-
not seemingly. That's what
Yes,
it is.
is slavery
That's what
right?
it says. It's not.
Wait, does it condone or does it describe how people got out of it?
No, it does. It does.
condones it.
Even in the Bible,
It
it says,
does. Okay.
it says
Condone.
as a slave, you should obey your master, do
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
all
that's
that
not
stuff.
condoning.
That is.
But
Oh,
what
that's
is-
condone. Oh,
yes,
yes,
so
sorry,
that
yeah,
is
condoning
condone.
is okay,
Yes.
right. So it agrees
So,
with it.
so
Okay,
you get
cool.
it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right or it's something that should be done in this day and age. It must always evolve. That is the whole point of it. There should be. It's like law.
But you do know that
It's like
somebody
law.
also believes in that.
In what?
And what?
In that slavery example that you
Well, of course. Of
Yes, but-
course.
So somebody who,
believing
that's
in
what I'm
that-
saying, that somebody who solely believes in those things is what?
No, you see,
Is he
being a
old-fashioned or
conservative.
is he a believer?
No, being a conservative,
person.
you know, conservatives' political belief. They all believe in freedom of speech,
Yes.
freedom of expression, every sort of freedoms. I mean, save certain freedoms that are not, you know, basic. Like, you know, we talk about freedom of sexual partners and those things.
yeah.
Those are not conservative ideas. Because conservatives believe in what should be, like the regular thing, a man and a woman,
Hold on a
and all those
second.
things.
Hold on a second. Back then, are you trying to imply that back then men were not with different women?
They were men with different women.
Yeah.
Yes, men, but conservatives believe in that. I
Right.
mean, but it depends on the society.
Okay.
In Ghana, for instance, in our cultural and our laws, you know, we have what we call the what's it called? Our sources of laws, the common law, the
And there are
yes.
things that we fought for,
Yes.
you know, a change
and
for
and
years.
we have our traditional laws where you have we believe in polygamy. You get it, but that is when you go to the West, polygamy is not accepted. You understand?
Right.
But they believe in being what's it called, homosexual, having same-sex marriages, which is not accepted here as well.
Yeah.
You
I
get it.
do. I haven't heard a lot from you today.
Yes.
We're trying to wrap up. We need to go.
Say Kolo man.
So let me have your final thoughts. I think I'm going to end
Yeah,
with you.
so I think, like we said, being conservative doesn't necessarily mean you're colloquial or maybe you are old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned.
But I'm going to do, let's say, in the trends of now. Now, look at it now. In our generation, or even in Ghana here, we are even moving from what? We are even moving from manual to digital. Come to think of it. But now, it doesn't also end up saying that people are still not doing manual. They are,
Oh, they
are,
do.
yes.
Are
exactly.
you talking about driving?
No,
Wait.
no, not
Oh,
not
like,
only
oh,
driving.
practices,
No,
right,
practices.
right.
I mean,
that's
practices.
like
Yeah, so practices. So I was doing some job yesterday, and I ended up so upon all whatever is happening or the trend that is happening right now, what the vice president is saying that okay, let's do digital. Or still, people are still doing manual. Whereby
It will take time.
it's fine.
It will take
but,
time.
Talking about the informal economy versus the formal. But yeah.
But that is it. But that
Yeah.
is it. aside being that, I made mention of Rastafarians, that we still even have Rastafarians who still believe in their culture. And I'd still say that it's a way of life being consecutive. You understand? It's the way of life. So you decide to be traditional, or you decide to be an old-fashioned, which we still have Rastafarians who are innovative and that even follow the trend of what we are even doing today.
I get your point. So I think basically what we're all trying to say is that being conservative doesn't necessarily
mean that you are
old-fashioned.
Or
Ex-colo.
But
that's what we're all trying to say.
You know what?
Who's Kolo?
Okay.
When you dwell on it,
Hold
when you
on.
dwell on it too much, you Kolo.
Okay, so that's what Possible is saying. Possible is saying if you dwell so much on it or too much on it, it
Kolo.
means that you are old-fashioned, you are Kolo. We cannot complete this conversation without you. And so make sure that you let us have your thoughts using the hashtag BMPS on Joy Prime. But this is where we're ending the conversation. We sat right here at Juice Tank on, the N1 stretch, Jolu, in the heart of the city. And this is where they take delight in serving you with the best of juices and food made from the best of ingredients. BMPS was brought to you by Jameson. Anytime you're catching up with old friends or you're vibing with new ones, make sure that there's Jameson on the table. That one special person that we had today was NGO. Final word to them, bro.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, especially the ladies.
I hear this is your camera.
Ladies and gentlemen, especially the ladies, this is for you. Thank you for...
Hello, can you just give your word out to the ladies?
that.
To the ladies!
No,
To the
that.
ladies!
Can you be conservative at least?
Guys, I'm
Finish
being
it.
conservative. That's why I'm not talking to the guys.
Okay.
Yeah. So ladies, I love you. Keep loving me. And please, keep watching the show. I'll come back. We'll continue this. And we'll talk about something
He's
else.
coming back because of Juice Tank. I am confused for them out.
The BMPS Show is brought to you by Jameson.
Jameson, triple distilled, twice as smooth. Drink responsibly, not for sale to persons under 18 years of age.